Hey guys, how you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Listen, there has been another interesting development in the ongoing saga of Sigil, Wizards of the Coast virtual tabletop software that they have been working on for seemingly endless months now. Before we get to that though, if you would please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications about these kind of newsy videos, our live streams, our actual plays, our interviews, and all the content that we like to bring you. We're trying to get over 10,000 subs here on the Delver's Dungeon, and when we do that, I want to hold an in real life convention to celebrate. So click subscribe, tell your friends, tell them to click subscribe, and let's manifest that. Let's make that happen. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right into it. This is some news from Wizards of the Coast regarding the Sigil virtual tabletop that they've been working on for a good few years now. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. This will start over on Twitter, where they dropped the announcement just not too long ago. We made the difficult decision to end development on Sigil. Campaigns will continue as usual through October 2026 with all features intact. Read more about what's next and how we're supporting players on our blog. So let's go ahead and have a gander at their blog. And this is posted by their staff. Closing the chapter on Sigil and thanking the community. To our D&D community, we have made the difficult decision to end development on Sigil. This was not a decision made lightly, and it followed months of reflection with all teams involved. We're deeply grateful to everyone who explored Sigil with us and shared in its journey. Your passion and feedback meant the world. At Wizards of the Coast, our goal is to create experiences that help you tell incredible stories together, whether at the table, online, or anywhere you gather to play. When we introduced Sigil, we imagined a powerful 3D virtual tabletop where you could share maps, minis, and environments with your friends and fellow players. And I just want to pump the brakes here and remind you guys, Wizards of the Coast back in January of 2023 brought the hammer down on anybody's VTT if it had things like 3D sprite animation, so on and etc. And it's probably because they wanted to position Sigil in the front of the line before anyone else. So just keep that in mind. While that vision inspired thousands of players and creators, we couldn't sustain the level of ongoing development support that Sigil or our community deserved. That's on us. What we've learned from Sigil and from your feedback will guide how we approach future digital tools. We'll take the time to do it right in pursuit of developing the best D&D experiences possible. To everyone who built and played in Sigil, developers, DMs, players, and creators alike, thank you. Your time, creativity, and feedback made Sigil what it was. We know this decision hurts, especially for everyone who built campaigns, shared feedback, and believed in Sigil's future. You deserve clarity about what happens next. Now, let's take in as a capsule. First of all, back in March, Wizards of the Coast announced that they were laying off 90% of Sigil's development staff. But one thing I will tell you is that I don't think laying off that 90%, I don't think the remaining 10% were working feverishly to try and make Sigil happen. They were probably winding things down and pruning things to keep Sigil running as well as it might for the next year. And the only reason they're doing that is probably because they've paid lease on server space for the next year and they don't want to just throw that money away. So they'll keep it running in some sort of zombie fashion between now and next October. Now, I could be completely wrong. They could celebrate it. They could support it. But I don't think so. Not with 90% of the team gone. Now, I know here on this channel, we like to and we prefer to focus on old school things and how things how this might shake out. and impact old school things. And I can't think of too many people on our side of the fence, in our little corner of the playground, who were that interested in using Sigil and trying to sort of kludge it and hammer it into running original D&D, first edition, second edition, or even third or 3.5. But what this points up, in addition to another management shuffle at Wizards of the Coast, plus some kind of nagging issues about sales figures, is something that kind of concerns me. And this actually cropped up. This was posted by Grums. That's Mark Kern over on Twitter. And I'm going to link to all of these in the description down below. And he points out a couple of videos by Professor DM and Dungeon Craft, and I'm not really going to launch into those. D&D player handbook sales in millions, and you've got first edition 1.5 million, second edition looks like 375,000, third edition back up to 1 million, fourth edition hovering around 500,000, fifth edition slightly outstripping first edition, and then 2024 edition estimate. Now, I don't have a time frame for this. I don't know what time period these cover, because I know, for example, they were selling first edition players handbooks from 1978 until 1989. People were still buying them off shelves as they were available into second edition because they liked some of the options that they considered. Also not listed on this chart is D&D 3.5, and I think that's important to keep in a context here, because there are a lot of people who stuck with third edition and only bought things that fixed problems in third edition for 3.5. So the fact that there is not a 3.5 category, or that third edition and 3.5 are concatenated into one single edition bar, is kind of interesting in this context. Because from what I understand, D&D 2024 is really just a patch on 5th edition. Some people have called it D&D 5.5 rather than a separate edition itself. Wizards of the Coast themselves have said it will be compatible with 5th edition and so on. So there may be a lot of people that bought it, but bought it to supplement 5th edition. So this chart doesn't give us a lot of context, but again, I will link to this thread and you guys can read it. It's got a pretty active discussion underneath it. Grand DM says, anyone deep in the hobby doesn't need sales numbers to know which way the wind's blowing. New D&D is an innovation. It's 5e repackaged by suits for the culture war, and that was never going to have mass appeal. Let's see. Fateful Force says, I know 5e gets a lot of flack, and it certainly was the beginning of where the IP was going, but despite its faults, it still felt like D&D at the heart. Sadly, when Tasha's was released, it was clear which direction WotC had chosen to take the game. So, those are points of view there that people have. I think that, again, it's 5e fatigue. People don't see 5.5 as that much of an improvement. Hence, you see this tanking. And what has this got to do with Sigil? Well, obviously, if a new edition's not doing that well and interest in it is down, you're not going to have the dollars to put in to something that as grand as the plans they had for Sigil seemed to be. And some people have said, based on some financial numbers and so on, that D&D is now only 10% of Wizards' profits. I don't know. I haven't looked at those numbers, but there's been some other consideration there that maybe this is kind of the beginning of Hasbro looking to sell Wizards of the Coast off. I don't know, and I don't think that that's necessarily true. Magic the Gathering is still a license to print money. Monopoly Go, which is just a mobile Monopoly game, is a license to print money. That goose is still laying golden eggs, even if they're not Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know that they would jettison D&D in any real sense of the words. They're certainly not going to leave it behind when there's so much IP that they can still squeeze some money out of. But if they are cutting non-money making projects rather, is certainly a good place to start to lean up the IP and make it look good for a potential buyer. Again, I'm not suggesting that that's the case. I'm not suggesting that that's going to happen. But what has this got to do with the old school then, you might ask? We rely, if you love first edition AD&D and you don't want to have to pay a mint for first edition AD&D books and supplements, you haven't inherited them from a friend, you didn't find that golden one in a million deal at a yard sale or used bookstore, the easiest way to get first edition AD&D is just to buy it new, and you can do that through DriveThruRPG or even through D&D Beyond. Those sales come with certain obligations to DriveThruRPG, to a third-party print-on-demand company and that sort of thing. If Wizards of the Coast is really looking to jettison D&D, or if Hasbro was really looking to jettison Wizards of the Coast, my opinion here, just my opinion, I would think that you would see the end of that. That those of us who are fans of original and basic and first edition, second edition, third edition, and yeah, even fourth edition, and now I guess fifth edition, we would see all that begin to fall away. They would shutter those, because no company that wants to just swoop in and scoop something up quick and easy is going to want to buy things that have an obligation to other companies. They want something quick, clean, and easy, so they don't have to go to a third party and then deal with that third party and deal with what that third party might want to do. They just want a simple sign these 18 documents, shake hands, money is moved in a wire transfer, the end. So if this is a bellwether, if this is kind of the first pebble beginning to roll down the cliff, that does concern me, because I want you guys to have access to and play classic D&D just really, really easy, and not have to go out and pay $80 for a Dungeon Master's Guide and $112 for a Player's Handbook and $90 for a Monster Manual, and then $60 each for modules. I want you to be able to go and just push button, receive books. So I hope that that's not the case, that maybe I've just got my head screwed on wrong, and that this is literally just a bad project, because Lord knows, going all the way back to 2000, Wizards of the Coast has never been able to get out of their own road with digital projects. Third edition was supposed to have this all singing, all dancing character creator when they really just needed something nice and text-based like Crom, but that's another story. And then, of course, fourth edition, which wasn't really their fault. And fifth edition has sort of meandered with VTTs and that sort of thing. They just haven't been able to get the digital side of D&D going, and this is another symptom of that. But of course, I want to know what you guys think about all of this. So please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Does this impact you? Maybe you played 5e as well as classic D&D, or maybe you're just a 5e fan and you like hanging around here. That's fine too, and that's your exclusive thing. Does this impact you? Were you looking forward to Sigil? Was this something that was on your radar? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And again, if you haven't already, please do click the subscribe button. It really, really helps. But until next time, folks, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Peace.